Before the commission today is docket number 25-057-U, which is styled in the matter of the annual determination of the 2026 interest rate applicable to utility customer deposits. My name is Wesley Hunt, and I was designated as a presiding officer in this matter by order number 2 of the Arkansas Public Service Commission. By way of background, on October 2nd, 2025, Order number 1 initiated this docket pursuant to Arkansas Code Annotated 23-4-206, which requires the Commission, following notice and hearing, to determine annually the interest rate not to exceed 10% to be paid on customer deposits for public utility service. Statute further requires the Commission to enter its final order no later than December 31st of each year, setting the annual customer deposit rate of interest for the following year. Accordingly, this docket was established for the purpose of considering and setting the 2026 interest rate to be paid on customer deposits for public utility services provided by all jurisdictional public utility companies, subject to the Commission's authority. The general staff of the Commission was directed to make its recommendation regarding the appropriate customer deposit interest rate via direct testimony to be filed in this docket by noon on November 4th, 2025. Staff complied with this directive by filing the direct testimony of Grayson Martin and the direct exhibit of Grayson Martin on October 29th, 2025. All jurisdictional public utility companies were made parties to this docket and served with a copy of said testimony, and the utilities were given the opportunity to file rebuttal testimony in response to staff's initial testimony. The deadline set for any rebuttal testimony by noon on November 14th, 2025. No utility took the bait, and here we are. So I would ask anybody to silence their cell phones and other electronic devices, including your computers. For those in the hearing room, if you must make or receive a telephone call during the hearing, I ask that you please step into the hallway to do so. Also, for those in the hearing room, you may access the Commission's public Wi-Fi system. I believe all of you work here, so you probably know this part. By entering the passcode on the card on your table or using your state-issued devices. For the record, will any attorneys present state their appearances and the names of those persons they intend to call as witnesses?
Judge, I'm Wesley Manis, and I have with me David Scott, and we intend to call Grayson Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Manis. Thank you for being here, Mr. Scott. Mr. Martin, can you please stand and raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated. Opening statements shall be limited to a maximum of 10 minutes for each party, or by motion, the parties may request to waive opening statements. Before we move to opening statements, are there any motions or other procedural matters that need to be addressed at this time?
Judge, general staff requests to waive opening statement.
It's granted. Thank you. With respect to public comments, I didn't see any names out on the sign-in sheet, so I'm going to proceed. No one has signed up on the sign-in sheet. I will pause a moment. If there's anyone from the public present in the audience who would like to make a public comment, speak now. All right. As to procedural matters, the pre-filed testimony and exhibit filed in this proceeding are admitted into evidence and considered part of the record. And the court reporter will not be inserting Mr. Martin's pre-filed testimony and exhibit into the transcript. As such, staff counsel should authenticate the testimony and exhibit filed by Mr. Martin by stating the name of the testimony and exhibit and the date it was filed when Mr. Martin is called. These documents, so admitted, will not be duplicated in the transcript of today's live hearing, but can be relied upon for the purpose of any rehearing requests or appeals. Given that this is an uncontested proceeding, I don't expect that to occur. Please note that the Commission's longstanding hearing rule will be in effect during this hearing, meaning that once the witness has been tendered for questioning by the presiding officer, me, further redirect of the witness by counsel will not be permitted, except upon request for clarifying questions only. Are there any motions or other procedural matters that need to be addressed at this time?
We have none.
Thank you. Let's present the testimony. Mr. Manis, you may call your witness for general staff.
General Staff calls Grayson Martin. Morning. Could you please state your name and business address for the record?
Grayson Martin, 1000 Center Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, 72201.
And who's your employer?
Arkansas Public Service Commission.
What is your title?
I am a rate case analyst in the financial analysis section.
And on whose behalf are you testifying today?
The general staff of the Arkansas Public Service Commission.
Are you the same Grayson Martin who filed direct testimony in an exhibit on October 29th, 2025 in this matter?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any corrections or additions to your testimony or exhibits at this time?
No, I do not.
And Judge Hunt, I tender the witness.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Martin.
Thank you.
I should know the answer to this, but is this your first time testifying?
Yes, it is.
Well, it's my first time presiding, so we get to make it through this together. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions about the methodology for determining the 2026 customer deposit rate. And I'm looking at page 4 of your direct testimony. Starting down at the question on line 12, and I'll just ask this generally. I think I understand the methodology, but I want to give you an opportunity to help elucidate how you determine a comparable investment instrument when you're coming to a recommendation of a customer deposit rate.
So we wanted to take an investment that was comparable, which would be a certificate of deposit from a financial institution or bank with a maturity of 1 year and $500.
So I think I understand the 1 year clearly. The $500, how is that amount determined as an appropriate principal amount for a comparable instrument?
Most of the banks all have a minimum requirement for their deposit, which here in Arkansas, at least, it is always $500 minimum.
Okay. So I don't know what a typical deposit on a utility, when you're starting service with the utility, do you happen to know what that number is?
I do not. I can give an example of when I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
I
That'd be
had to give a
great.
deposit to my utility for $100.
Okay. Yeah. I would assume it's probably in our rules buried somewhere, or in their utility tariffs, but that's helpful. And it's helpful to know that there's a minimum from the banks. And this approach is consistent with the Commission's generally accepted methodology?
Yes, sir, it is.
So tell me about the survey. How does general staff, or you in this instance, go about choosing the banks that you inquire about?
So I did a phone survey on or about October 3rd, 2025, of geographically dispersed. So I wanted to make sure that there was different financial institutions in northern Arkansas, eastern, southern, northwest, all being taken into account, that had those 1 year maturity with a minimum of $500.
So as long as they offer that, you just kind of pick. Do you have a certain number amount when you go into that process of doing the survey? So,
I did. I aimed for 5 in each kind of jurisdiction, northwest, northeast, south, central.
so 5 in each geographical area.
Correct.
Yeah. It's helpful. And your recommendation is 3.05% for 2026, correct?
That's correct.
And that remains your recommendation today.
It does.
That's a bit higher than last year, and just there's not a lot of detail about why that is. I mean, we can talk about macroeconomic factors, and we don't have to get into too much detail, but can you generally tell me why that's gone up since last year's rate?
Due to the last time that it was implemented, rates from the Fed had been increased, so they were offering higher rates on their CDs.
So higher certificate of deposit rates are going to equal a higher customer deposit interest rate.
Correct.
Well, I think that's all of the questions I have, and I really appreciate you being patient with me here. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nothing I have to add.
Well, in the words of the chairman, you may stand down.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Martin. Mr. Manis, any other witnesses?
None, Your Honor.
Well, I appreciate the participation and cooperation of the general staff attorneys and staff's witness, Mr. Martin, during this proceeding. I intend to issue an order approving the 2026 customer deposit rate recommended by staff well before the December 31st, 2025 statutory deadline. In fact, I wanted to do it from the bench, but I will issue a short order here in the next couple of weeks. Any other matters which need to be brought before the commission at this time? Hearing none, this hearing is adjourned and the record is closed. Thank you.